Hi everyone, Michael Sandler here, your host on Inspire Nation with today's Ask Michael Anything. Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. I do say us, although I will be the main speaker. Jessica is behind the scenes on the chat room. After she gets a little bit of food in herself, she's getting her energy back, which is a little bit of what we're going to be talking with you about this evening. So with that said, let's see, housekeeping items. First off, we've got a few openings for coaching for springtime. Woohoo! So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, working with me to help change your life, and Jessica always says, tell people what you do, how you help change their lives. Jessica, could you guide me in that one? No, not a chance. I will see by the end if I can share some stories about how we've helped people with coaching. But if you're interested in coaching, you can simply go over to inspirenationshow.com/coaching. Again, that's inspirenationshow.com/coaching. And you can sign up for a free one-on-one strategy session with me so we can talk about what your needs are, if coaching is right for you, and proceed from there. With that said, also, we have been cranking up our newsletter to the max. We switched newsletter systems. This is allowing us to have a more vibrant, multimedia, multicolor, multi-story kind of pro newsletter for you, to give you words of wisdom, tips for the week, to share our stories with you as well, and give you more shows that you can watch so that you can figure out exactly what's the easiest, or it's kind of the easiest way to figure out what you want to watch. So come on over to inspirenationshow.com and you can sign up for our brand spanking new newsletter as well. With that said, today we wanted to talk about kind of a challenging little topic, which is when good things happen, good things happen to bad people. No, when bad things happen to good people. And I'm not sure how much detail I want to go into here because Jessica's next to me and we don't really want the faucet to flow. But if you have been following our journey, we were pregnant last fall. And we were very excited about that. We were in baby planning mode and we're very happy and excited we got pregnant. Jessica was exhausted during that pregnancy. Turns out I call it the first trimester conspiracy. A lot of women get really, really tired during that first trimester, and Jessica was no exception to that rule. She miscarried officially miscarried about 11 and a half weeks in. And that was kind of really hard, particularly for Jessica. I can't imagine what it feels like. For me, I know babies coming back around. It hurt, but I don't think it's the same sensation of having a baby in your belly, of carrying that baby, and communicating with that baby, and such an intimate relationship and connection, and then to have that spirit go away. That took place late last fall. We, hold on one second here. This is typical. I have a fish plate, everybody, that echoes sound right next to me. That never works well. I have a very sensitive ear from being on the mic in the studio. And so when I hear sound bouncing, it can be a bit of a distraction. So that was last fall. And there were some real positives that came out of it. It was a real bonding experience. I think we took Jessica's health and her diet to a whole new level in this process. And then she went to a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat, which was phenomenal, and I believe tremendously helped with healing as well. And then she got back here, and lo and behold, we got pregnant again. Woo-hoo-hoo. And we found that out, I'm guessing about a month ago. Jessica was really, really, really exhausted this time around. I would say more exhausted, but I can't speak for Jessica, but it looked like this one hit her system harder as far as energy levels, and she did her best she could, but she didn't want to push through them because she's growing baby inside of her. And so the mantra was rest. She's like, should I rest? Should I rest? Go rest. And we had our first ultrasound 2.5 weeks ago now. And the ultrasound technician was really surprised at how young the baby was, that she was seeing what she felt were like the first day or second day of heartbeats. Actually, she said if it was a day or two earlier, she wouldn't be able to see the heartbeat, and dated the baby as younger than we expected, which was interesting. Next week, everything along as planned. And then last week, we had another appointment for the doctor, which I thought was odd because there was no blood work to be done, no ultrasound. So I wasn't quite sure why we were going, but we went anyway. And when we were there, the doctor asked if she could do another ultrasound, even though we've had one 2 weeks earlier. And we're not big in doing many procedures or invasive procedures, or even hitting the baby with lots of sound waves, ultrasonic sound waves. But we decided if the doctor had a reason for it and Jessica felt like might as well check, then we might as well check. So we decided to do a quick touch and go. And when we were doing the ultrasound, I'm there with the camera filming Jessica for what should be a very, very joyous event. And the technician was fighting back tears saying, I need to go get the doctor. And we learned that we had another miscarriage. It may have been that she miscarried the day after we were getting the ultrasound. We don't know for that matter. But the baby hadn't grown in size and no longer had a heartbeat. So that was Friday. We're doing much better. There are lots of positive moments. Saturday morning, or maybe it was Sunday morning, Jessica was able to get a little singing out of herself in between bouts of sadness. It's grief. It's a grieving process. There's a lot of healing to be done, and I believe the sadness will come in waves. But we're on this journey, and we're sharing this with you because we want to take you along on this journey with us. Not to say, hey, look at us, or anything of the sort, but maybe what we're going through can help you in some way. Maybe you're going through a similar situation or something completely different, but that is also what we call bad things happening to good people. And I'm going to put that in quotes, bad things, because from a spiritual perspective, we have no idea what's going on. Now, grief is still grief. A loss is still a loss. In fact, I had a guest on today, Emily, it may have been Emily Prentice, who was saying that the earliest miscarriages may actually be the most painful experience because there's so much promise for the future. The whole wide world, the whole future is open to you. And so when it happens in that case, it may be the worst. I don't know that you can actually measure these things. Grief is grief and loss is loss. But with that said, from a spiritual perspective, if we look back and we realize we are spiritual beings having a human existence, and that we are living on an infinite timeline of life, that there is, as Raymond Moody calls it, who's the near-death experience, probably the leading NDE expert in the world right now, life after life. Life is only a doorway, or death is only a doorway. And so we know spirits are circling around, waiting for the opportunity to come back in and for us to have our healthy, happy children who like to sleep through the night and do everything that daddy likes to do and are super athletic and smart and kind and compassionate. And the list goes on and on. I write it about in my intention work daily, or something better. But it is all some sort of a cosmic plan. This happened maybe to make us stronger, bring us closer together, share these stories with you. Who knows? It could have nothing to do with this lifetime at all. It may have been an experience that the baby needed, coming and going and maybe coming back again. We have no idea. So what I want to talk with you about now, what I want to talk with you about this evening is, what do you do if something terrible, I'll put that in quotes because there are a lot of things painful that take place that may have a benefit in the long run, but what do you do when these things happen? The first and most important thing that you need to do is step back, get some distance, get some perspective. I'm known for saying to lean into things or to snuggle up with your discomfort. There's a time and a place for this. When somebody has passed away, when crap has really hit the fan, you don't need to lean into that fan. Step back, get yourself some breathing room. And that's just what we have had to do. Rather than go, what's the next step? What do we do? How about this? What went wrong? In quotes. Where do we go from here? It's really stepping back from that situation. Without judgment, we need time to grieve. Whatever has taken place in your life, whatever loss, whatever has gone, quote, wrong, you need time to grieve. Give yourself that time. All too often in this society, we say, you need to keep going. You need to force ahead. You need to push, strive. Let's get going. Time's wasting. You've had enough time to grieve. You've had enough time to process. No, take your time. Really take your time. So like I'm looking at my calendar this week and I'm going, well, why isn't this here? Why isn't that here? Why isn't that? And I'm like, oh, you've been given time, Michael. Time to breathe, time to step back, time to begin to heal. Then look at the situation from a place of non-judgment. If you do this, truly something positive can come out of the situation. And it may be that you get to choose for something positive. So April 2nd, 2004, I was in Boulder, Colorado, out on a bicycle path, skating along. I was sponsored by Rollerblade to do the world's longest, I think it was the world's longest skate, 4,000 miles in 40 days. I was supposed to be doing that summer from LA to New York City. And as I was rounding a bend going home, I'd been sitting in a creek and meditating before I'd laced up my skates. A father stepped out on the bike path with his baby, teaching the baby how to walk. And I threw myself up and backwards and down. Well, I guess the down took care of itself, to avoid hitting the baby. Once I was with it, didn't fully lose consciousness, but it was an instant moment, an instant shift of my whole beingness. But once I was with it, I realized from a place of non-judgment, this had to be an incredibly positive experience and that something amazing would come out of it. I chose that. I can't say for sure if something was going to come out of it, but I chose that, and I had to choose that. Because if instead I went to, poor me, woe is me, why did this happen to me? Or as I said, after I got hit by a car in the French Alps a decade before that, while racing bicycles, trying to make it to the Tour de France, then I had said, God is dead. There is no God. And that left me with 7 or 8 years in and out of pain centers, trying to heal, feeling so terrible, having serious bouts or serious struggles with PTSD. That was loading myself up with the negative, making it very hard for me to come back. Now here I am bleeding out on the bike path, shattered femur, shattered hip, shattered arm. And when I got to the hospital, the doctor said, I've got to wheel you into surgery or you're going to lose your leg or lose your life. If I hadn't chosen to say something positive could come out of this experience, it would have been like fitting myself or putting on my shoulders an elephant to wear. Good luck healing from that, Michael. So take it from a place of non-judgment. Don't pick on yourself. Don't look at the past and say, if only I woulda, coulda, shoulda, or had done X, Y, or Z. No. Everything happened exactly as it should. There is nothing you could have done about it. Well, if I had, no, you didn't. You took in all the information and you made the best decision you could given the information you had, period. End of story. There is nothing you could have done differently or you would have, but you didn't have the information you do now. So you did the absolute best you could. No judgment, no shame, no picking on yourself. Do everything you can to shift gears and say something positive can come out of this. I know in my heart of hearts with Jessica, something incredibly positive will come out of it. And I'm convinced baby or babies will be in our future. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind. How soon it will be, I don't know. I am exceptionally protective of Jessica, and so I wish this could be a super easy, simple, energizing process. She spent so much energy in two first trimesters that I do pray. This next one goes kind, gentle, easy, good with more energy, and obviously with an amazing, healthy baby going to term. When you're doing this, when you're choosing to look at the positive, you are not making superficially light of the situation. I didn't drive back from the hospital. I think we were in Tessie, so I could have put it on autopilot. And I didn't turn to Jessica and go, life is good, life is great, something great will come out of this. I would have needed to smack myself upside the face. Crap is crap. Something positive will come out of it. But allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. Don't brush it aside. Don't make light of it. In fact, my God, when you are ready, grab a journal and go to town and get out all of the emotions. And don't feel this. There's an interesting thing in self-help, and I guess it's ever since The Secret, really. I don't mean to pick on The Secret, but we believe what we think about is what we bring about. So we can't allow ourselves to have negative thoughts or emotions. Hogwash. Nothing could be further from the truth. That's called a volcano, or that's called, I want to say internal injuries, but certainly that could lead to some sort of a health issue. If you try to stuff down your sadness, your anger, your disappointment, whatever it is, instead you need to feel this. Share about it, talk about it, write about it. Listen. So in my case, the most important thing that I could do for Jessica is to listen very, very deeply. Not to go, oh, everything's going to be fine. In fact, I caught myself earlier this evening. Jessica said, I'm really sad. And I started to go to that kind of men are from Mars place of I can fix anything. Let me give you some solutions. And I stopped myself. And I said, that's not going to be very helpful. I just need to listen to her so that she can get this off of her chest. Listen to her. Did you just wave your hand? Or is that? No. Okay. Listen to her with everything that I've got. Really, you need to make space, make room, allow in whatever comes up. This certainly means going to prayer, going to meditation. I think somebody asked me earlier today if I've written about it much in automatic writing yet. And I was surprised because I write about so much each morning in automatic writing. And I'm like, no, I haven't yet. And I think it's because I needed a little bit of time and space. So maybe it'll come up in the next few days. I have done a lot of praying. I will keep doing a lot of praying. One thing you can do is go to what makes you feel good. This is prayer. It's such a strange thing. Get serious and pay attention, or go to church and pay attention. Nothing wrong with church, but we have this concept that we need to be solemn. We need to grieve. We need to stop playing and pay attention. But to me, play is prayer. When you're doing something fun, that is divine. That is a divination from the heavens. You were given a gift. Why does one person like something and another person hate that, but like something completely different? Because we came into this world with gifts from the heavens. Unwrap the gifts, use the gifts. Don't say, well, I can't play right now. I can't draw, do something creative. I need to grieve. No, if you feel like grieving, grieve. If you feel like doing something fun, do it. Pamper yourself. Get back to the things you love. Get yourself a massage so you can get some of that negative energy out of you. Heck, I went out and ran up a ski slope today on my skis and then came back down skiing. I didn't have quite the energy I would have liked. And on the way down, instead of doing my shoosh, 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 I was just like, oh, oh, oh. I just let myself be with it. Was it fun? Absolutely. Did I have the energy to do what I wanted? No, but that's okay too. On that note, if you've heard me speak at all, you know I'm a huge fan of a routine, particularly a morning routine. A morning routine to me is like going rock climbing and anchoring yourself into a pin to hold you against the rock, to keep you from falling. So highly recommend when the world starts spinning around you, when bad things, in quotes, have happened, get some semblance of an anchor, of a routine in place so that you can anchor yourself. Go back to a regular bedtime if at all possible, because staying up late, chances are, will only make you feel more miserable. Get up at a regular time as well. Meditate, do automatic writing, do morning pages, get some physical movement, then go back to grieving. But at least anchor in the day. You will feel so much better for it. On that note, consider energetic clearing. This means both from a personal level, I know I get to do a bunch of emotion code work on Jessica, emotion code work on myself, EFT tapping, so many different techniques that we get to work on to clear out any negativity. And also make space in your home. We had a visit coming up earlier today, and so we did I did like 10% of it. And Jessica, unbelievable, did probably 90% of the work of getting this home in order. I did move some of the big picture items around, but the home looks spectacular now and has given us space to grieve, but also space to bring in something new. When you declutter, when you clean, when you clear out stuck energy and make room for something new. It both makes space for something new, but also there's a temporal shift. If you rearrange furniture, if you dress differently, if you were to travel somewhere, in this case, if you simply clean the home more, what happens is there is a before cleaning and an after cleaning in your mind. And so it lumps everything, all of those, quote, bad things into the before. And it says, but now we're in the new phase. And it literally gives you what I call temporal space from whatever took place, giving you more room to breathe. In essence, it creates a boundary between what happened then and where you are now. When you're ready, I want you to grab that pen and paper. I mentioned journaling before. I want to come back to it. And I want you to write about everything that you're feeling. Get it out on paper. If there's a lot of, quote, negativity that comes out, grab a journal or a notepad where you don't mind ripping the pages out and get it all, barf it all down on paper, and then shred the paper and be done with it. And if there's more to do, write it out and shred it and write it out and shred it. This has been shown to help release negative emotions. I call it the better out than in exercise. I certainly didn't invent this thing, but the subconscious mind does not know the difference between the written word and the actual emotion or event. But you need to write and hear from yourself. And if you have a process of connecting with your inner wisdom, spirit, guide, God, whatever you want to call it, such as automatic writing, such as morning pages, there are a dozen other ways that you can do it. Basically going to prayer and then going to writing. Do that as well so you can hear from your deepest wisdom what's going on the inside and learn about yourself through this process and learn what you need in this process. Now, here's a biggie, and this one we have challenged, not deliberately, but we've challenged the current paradigm. Do not go it alone. Tell others, no matter what it is. You blew up a business, tell others. A relationship tanked, tell others. You've lost a loved one, or specifically in this case, you've had a miscarriage, tell others. Do not fear the shame. Put yourself out there. Fear the silence. The silence is where we spiral downwards. But we are social beings. Heck, if I turn to Jessica right now, heck, I could turn to you right now and say, I love you. And that will literally produce oxytocin in the mind or in the heart. I can turn to Jessica and say, I love you. And that produces more happy drugs for me. When you talk with others, when you bond with others, when you share, not only are you creating a more intimate connection, my God, can your relationships grow to a whole new level when you share, not complain, but share about what happened. But you will help heal your heart in the process. Now, if you feel you need time first to lick your wounds before you're ready to speak with others, I totally and completely understand. Give yourself a time. You may not set a hard deadline, but make sure it doesn't continue on and on and on. Because when we take ourselves away from others, we lose perspective. We lose perspective, we lose hope, we lose heart, and we begin that downward cycle of pain. So say, I need a few days, I need a week, I need whatever. And then make sure that you get yourself back out there so that you're not going deeper and deeper in the hole. In fact, I would challenge you to get yourself to be more communicative sooner rather than later. Then I was talking about doing something fun, something playful. Do something inspirational or creative for your heart and your soul. Paint, write, draw, create, go to Legos, whatever, dance, whatever it is that puts you in the inspired process, the inspiration process in spirit. Creativity is really a direct pipeline to the universe. So even if it's grabbing a Crayola and drawing out what happened, get busy as soon as you're ready, getting back into that creative process. It could be that you want to draw out what your future looks like, or you want to create that vision board now. Even in its toughest moments, you can, and it's awesome to have a vision of what you would like. I know we had a vision not the moment, but soon after we found out about the miscarriage. I'm guessing Jessica was, and I certainly was, going, there's still baby coming into our future. We're still going to have a magical, magical family. I see it, I feel it, I know it, I write about it, I draw about it. Well, I don't really draw. My drawings are stick figures. But I visualize it with everything that I have. So plan for the future again and look at how you can make this a positive. It really is a positive in disguise. I love to say this line. If you can get one thing out of this, everything in life happens to you and for you. It happens for you and through you, not to you. Meaning you weren't smoted. Nothing bad happened specifically to hurt you or because of karma or because you did something wrong. It's all here to teach and grow and help you to evolve and help you on your path. So if you can understand this, it liberates you. It takes away any guilt and shame you may have. And understand, sort of like Edison, where the folklore anyway goes, that it took 10,000 tries to make a light bulb. I guess he came in at one point to an assistant and he had another failure. And he said, well, I've just found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. And he kept trying. There really is no such thing as failure. So share with others. See what you can do as you start to come out of this hole to make life even 1% better for yourself. 1% better today, 1% better this week. Tiny little incremental gains will help turn whatever took place into one of the greatest boons in your life. If you lost a loved one, if you're grieving, I really don't want you to say, well, everything happens for a reason. Everything's fine. Everything's dandy. I shouldn't feel sad. Instead, when you're ready, now, I mentioned this earlier, now is the time when you're ready to lean in, snuggle up to, feel the emotions, see what's there. Go to a mindful process. Sit down and say, where is this pain? Is it in my chest? And that's where I was experiencing it for the first few days afterwards. Actually, left side of chest. Is it in my gut? Is it in my legs? Where is it? And look at that. Lean into that place and see what your body has to tell you. Emotions are always waves. They will always, always pass. A dark night of the soul always has a light, a dawn, and a new day. So don't freak out about the negative emotions. Know they will pass, but they pass faster when we actually lean into them. Then look, last thought on this. When I talk about snuggling up with a negative emotion, I liken it to trigger point therapy. If you've ever had a deep massage where somebody goes and jams their thumb or more into a really sore spot, and for 30 seconds or a minute, it really hurts. And then the pain starts to melt and go away. That's what it's like with emotional struggles too. In fact, we had a guest on last week who talked about emotions come in 90-second waves. So if you can focus on that 90-second wave rather than trying to push it away, in which case what you resist persists, it comes back and back and back again, it will start to melt and go away. Choose love over fear. On a spiritual level, since everything happens for you, take solace in a greater plan. And don't say, well, because of this happened, I'm going to this. Or because this happened, I'm so terrified of that in the future. Which may be the case. And that's actually going to be our challenge. And it's going to be Jessica's challenge in particular. How do we not go to a place of fear when we have baby on board times 3? And I think it's much easier for me to say. It's not even fair for me to say because I'm not the one carrying baby on board. But I think if you can look at what's taken place and understand things happen for a reason, you can actually allow more into the process. Say, no, I won't go down that road of fear, of constriction, of tightening up. I will open up. I will have faith. I will allow something to birth or come forward no matter what. If you need to, get help. No man or woman is an island, and there's no need to go it alone. So if you don't have the friends to reach out to, if you don't have the family to reach out to, or you feel you need more, go to a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a naturopath, a healer, even or maybe especially a psychic, maybe somebody who can help you to connect with someone who you've lost, but get help on board. And sooner rather than later so that you can shortcut the process. Of course, if it's not a grief matter, ask yourself, is there a mentor I can bring on board? Is there somebody I can bring on board to help things go even easier, kinder, gentler, easier, gooder, better the next time around? And don't push your loved ones away who are still here. Lean into them. I understand if you want to circle the wagons, if you want to go quiet, you need that time. But then lean into your loved ones. They're there to help you if you're willing to open up and share. If you don't have loved ones, if you're stuck in and it's weird, the statistics say that we are the loneliest at least in the Western world, we're the loneliest we ever been, even with Facebook, even with me communicating with YouTube. Obviously, you can listen to podcasts and YouTube show and surround yourself with the most amazing people. But I would challenge you to get out to meetups, get out to groups of people going through similar experiences. If it's not a complaint fest, if it's helping to bring each other up, look for opportunities to connect with others and throw yourself out there. 2 last things. First off, honor those who you've lost. If this is about grief, honor them. Send them all your love. Thank them. Give them everything that you've got. Can help you to move forward as well. And then when you're ready, dream and scheme of an even better and brighter future ahead. I know amazing things are coming for Jessica and myself. I hope that's amazing, baby or babies, but it's all up to universe. But I'm going to dream about the future. I'm going to write about the future. I'm going to do each morning, do my intention work. We have an exercise called the Woohoo 8. I'm going to do that each and every morning to set intention for the best, brightest future ahead. And I challenge you when you're ready to do that too. With that said, I usually at this point ask Jessica if she has anything to add. I'm not even going to do that tonight. I am going to pass it over to Jessica in a moment to see what kind of questions there are. Again, 2 little housekeeping notes. We have some spots opening coming up for one-on-one private coaching. So if you're looking to get unstuck, move ahead, overcome challenges that you've had, feel better, finally get some peace in your life, or finally move past the stuckedness where you know what to do, but you don't know how to do it, or you're going, things have got to change, but I don't know where to go. I can help you with that. So come on over to inspirenationshow.com/coaching. And I'm happy to take the time. It's free to have a one-on-one strategy session with me, see if coaching's right, and I can certainly point you in a right direction or two. With that said, Jessica, do we have some questions that we would like to field for people here this evening?
I think my chat room just froze. So let me see.
Okay. So the last comment that I have is coaching operations starting mid April. So is that where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we have?
No questions from the audience yet.
Okay.
I think they've been very busy listening to your words of wisdom.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to share, or that you would, rather than you share anything, any questions you can think of that I should answer?
I really don't know what it's going to be like the third time around, how to move past the fear. Because I can tell myself, open up my heart to love and all that good stuff. But it's going to really require a lot of rewiring of the subconscious. I think it's definitely a subconscious job.
I was getting an automatic writing before we found out about this, and I haven't done it yet. So forgive me. I will commit to doing lots and lots of it, to spending so much time with you working on EFT tapping and just going after layer after layer. And I think we'll have to tag team on that, and without judgment. It's so easy for me to say, oh, go to a place of no fear. When you're carrying a baby on board, when you're exhausted, when you're feeling things, is that normal? Is that not normal?
And when you're exhausted, at least for me, I feel very vulnerable.
That makes sense.
Because, if we were out in nature in the wild and I was exhausted, then I'm easy prey.
Which means you're hiding and hibernating. Yeah.
And there's this feeling like I'm not able to protect myself as well, which I guess is where you come in.
And I feel like I was, patting myself on the back, stepping up to this plate this last time around, but I'm going to have to take it to a whole new level, aren't I?
Maybe.
I'm down for that. But I feel like I almost need to put it in the calendar because oftentimes it sounds cold and I don't mean it that way, but sort of like couples have to put, date night in the calendar. I need to put, daily Pookie tune-up work in the calendar, not when you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as soon as you're ready, I need to start that with you.
Like tonight?
Well, yes, I will commit to at least 10 minutes. People have to understand I am exceptionally protective of my sleep because I get up about 4. So, but yeah, let's start tonight. How's that?
All right. You're on camera.
I'm on camera. I'm making a promise.
They're going to hold it to you.
They will hold that match to my feet or however that goes. Yes, that I will start tonight. All right. Now, do we have any questions from people? Or it looks like the
No
chat.
questions. I mean, everyone's been talkative, but
yeah,
now they've gone silent.
Now they've gone silent, unless the chat has frozen. Nope. Oh, Mlow has a question. I have okay. Thank you, everyone. So Mlow, do you want to read the question or do you want me to read it?
It just scrolled off my screen.
Okay. I have a question. I want to find a new loving place to live for 6 months. I arise at 5 a.m. and meditate for 2 hours. How can I not be so fearful about finding a place? So Mlow, that's a fantastic question. And I would write about why you're so fearful. And I would lean into that. There's something more. There's a root cause going on, unless it's going to take a true miracle of miracles, in which case, Mlow, I would go to a place of prayer. Now, without judgment, the last time I was doing 2 hours of meditation a day, I was doing 2 to 4 hours a day. It's actually holding space at a meditation center in Maui for quite a while. I was actually quite lost because I was doing the in the cave work of meditating, but not the out of the cave work of manifesting. And so, Mlow, I would encourage you, you might even want to cut back on the manifestation, on the meditation time, maybe take it to an hour, and then write about what you're looking for and how you want it to feel and how it would make you feel and how excited you would be and where you want to be and why this is the greatest thing in the world, and get really, really, not specific, really, really excited about this place. Manifestation isn't about, well, if I have a negative emotion, I'm attracting something negative. No, it's about when you bring a big stone to the party, a big stone of intention into the pond of awareness, and you go blunk, and all these waves come out. You are creating with your positive thoughts. So we want to come up with as much positive thinking as we can. Write about it in that second hour. Draw about it. Take crayons and make something really special, or cut out little houses or figures or whatever it is and make a collage. But take that second hour in that holy time of 6 o'clock in the morning to create and bring about your future. I call it alchemy. I call it working on the other side of the veil. You do that at the end of your meditation, and you're really putting yourself in a special place. And then go to prayer, go to prayer, go to prayer. None of us are alone. There is not a trillion, billion, gazillion chance of us being alone in the world. So go to the spirits, guides, angels, loved ones, people who've passed on to the other side. Go to whomever you feel is by your side and ask them for assistance. And don't worry about, well, I need to say it this way or that way, or if it's already here or this, that, and the other. I always say is hogwash. Just bring as much positive energy to it as you can. Wish you the best, Mlow. Please keep us updated on this. Who would be next?
Lori asks, when you have conscious thoughts, do they start out as subconscious thoughts?
Oh, Lori, that is a brilliant, brilliant question. And I'm going to add a mind bender to that, particularly with Jessica and I hanging out so much together. Where did the thought actually start? Did it come from you? Did it come from your subconscious? Or did it come from spirit, God, universe, or elsewhere? That inception point is really, really tricky. And I mentioned that talking about Jessica, because oftentimes she will say something that I was thinking about, or I will say something that she was thinking about that's completely random, having nothing to do with what we're talking about or doing. So when it comes to thoughts, I view us, generally speaking, as a radio receiver. We may be receiving from the subconscious. We may be receiving from way beyond the little mind, but out in this bigger mind right here. Maybe the more important question to ask is, how is this thought here to serve me? And am I having a unique thought or a repeating thought or dwelling? The dwellings are what we want to watch for. Those are what holds us down. If you have repetitive thoughts of fear, of concern, write it down and look for the antidote to it. The dwelling is, I'm terrified I might not find a place to live. The antidote is, I'm going to do manifestation work. I'm going to do intention setting work. I'm going to contact people. I'm going to reach out. And so there's always a way to counterbalance it, rather than saying, I'm staying in a place of fear. I'm staying in a place of fear. I'm staying in a place of fear, which just brings you. Instead, look for what you can do if you catch a repeating thought to bring yourself up. And it's not so much that we can stop thinking, but link a positive to that quote negative. Is there another question or two?
Yes. I think you can see better on your screen.
All right, and I can change the resolution on there potentially for next time.
I just didn't.
Subconscious thoughts. Thank you so much, everybody, for your positive comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't see another question, but you believe there is one here. So I had Lori, Grando, subconscious thoughts.
No, I think that's it.
That's it. Would you have another thought or question or something that you wanted to share?
Well, I was just realizing that we do have a lot of tools at our disposal to get from that fearful place to a loving place.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of remembering in the moment.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a time issue or a fatigue issue, actually. It's like, yeah, I think that's it. Especially during the first trimester, just bring myself to go do an hour and a half meditation or even practice heart coherence.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where I get to do some tapping work on you, which can be much faster. But I mean, you really hit an important point, and we have to address that without judgment. When you're exhausted, it's okay to say, I really want to get myself in a better place. I should get myself in a better place. I'm just going to leave myself here for a little bit. You know, it's like after that experience with me on the bike path, and I'm laying there broken, but with a big smile on my face. I think it was an EMT came after the first firefighter and started asking me question after question after question. And I lovingly turned to her smiling and said, I said, please, enough with the questions right now. I'm suffering. And I was trying to smile, and I'm sure I told her that I was trying to meditate. But there's a time and a place, and so we can't say, well, and this is a challenge for me. When I see you struggling, I can't go, buck up, buckaroo, or something. That's not the thing to do.
Well, you also assumed that I was miserable just because I was tired.
It's hard to read the energy pattern of, are you miserable?
Like, this is what fatigue looks like, okay?
I get it. You're just
I'm not miserable. I'm just
down for the count.
Blah.
I get it. Tammy says, I had a question. What do you have? You missed.
Actually, Celina had a question.
Oh, Celina had a question, and then Tammy had a question. Okay. Celina. Actually, it looks like.
Tammy had a question first. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go to Tammy. All right. We're all about fairness here. How do you escape stagnation and procrastination? It's a matter of, Tammy, we don't procrastinate without a reason. None of us, no matter what you've been told by your parents, no matter what you've been told by your teachers, none of us is inherently lazy. We do or do not do everything that we do for a reason. So my guess is if you feel stuck, if there's procrastination coming up, you get to ask yourself, not as a judgment, please don't take this as a judgment thing. How is this here to serve me by not taking action? How is this protecting me by not taking action? And the ego is trying to protect you and keep you small so you don't realize your greatness, because if you realize your greatness, then you get to do something about it. And it's the scariest darn thing in the world. And then how will I maintain my greatness? So you get to ask, what do I get out of not stepping forward into my greatness? It was something I talked about with Emily on the show earlier today that'll be out in a few days as well, which is, I think it's Stress Less, Achieve More, something to that effect, which is when we call ourselves procrastinators, when we say that we're stuck, when we have a, quote, excuse for not stepping forward, it makes life easier for us. We're getting something. I can't do anything about it. It's just my nature. I happen to wear red shirts, and people who wear red shirts don't go very far in life. Whatever it is, you get to challenge yourself on these pieces. Lean into it, and they'll go, oh crap, calling myself on it. I will step forward. I'm glad I nailed it, Tammy. Yes. Dive into the fear. Look at where that fear comes from and say, what can I learn from this? That won't absolve the fear. The fear won't go away. Jessica hates it when I say it, but I am a skittish deer. I am fearful by nature, and yet I will step forward and do the most daring things in the world, sometimes going, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, and going for it anyway. Feel the fear, dive into that fear, and then make a decision and cross over to the other side. So brilliant, brilliant question, Tammy. So now back to Celina. We've got time for maybe 2 more questions. I really want to wrap up on time to recharge for my coaching client at 6:30. My friend has a boyfriend who keeps telling her she is unconsciously acting maliciously, but it seems like he is. How can she get a different reflection? Is it how she judges him? Well, the best thing that she can do, Celina, is step back from the situation. The answer probably won't come from somebody else, although you could get professional help and that may help, but it really will come from, and for that matter, a coach, but it will come from stepping out of her box, time away from him, writing about the situation, going for long walks on her own so that she can breathe and feel into the situation. She probably knows exactly what the answer is, but she's under the gun so much that she doesn't have the time to step back and process. Then she gets to go with her gut. Can an outside expert help? Yes. Friends is kind of a tricky one. It's good to share with, but friends always are looking out for our back. That's why I said maybe get a pro or maybe get a coach, because you don't want somebody that's incredibly biased looking at the situation, or they're going to go, you poor thing, you poor thing, you poor thing. However, with that said, my guess is there's much more going on than meets the eye. And my guess is it always takes 2 to tango, but she needs to step back and really, really hear her heart. I'll leave it at that. Beautiful, beautiful question, Celina. Any other questions we have here? Jessica wrote, I think he means I don't like it when he calls himself a skittish deer. I prefer to picture him as a strong bull. I think I've stepped up to the plate this time around. I've grown my horns.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Very, very good. All right. Time for one last question, thought, pondering, musing, anything you are thinking of over the next week. I always challenge my coaching clients saying, what's your intention or theme for the next week?
I think my intention is just to be gentle with myself and let the grieving process flow as natural as possible.
I like that. I totally like that. I think it is a time to surf that wave and allow on such a deep level. I don't even know what that means yet. I've never been in this spot before.
I was going to say you were in this spot last fall, but you mean in my shoes.
Well, no, I've never been in the double miscarriage situation. So last fall, I think I could have done, there is no shoulda, woulda, couldas, but I'd like to be even more, tongue twist, that means we hit an emotional spot. I'd like to be there for you even more this time around.
Thank you.
You got it.
I guess the last comment I have, and there is one more question from Lori, is I was just thinking that, if this process of trying to learn how to overcome the fear of a third miscarriage, I think is a really great learning opportunity.
Tell me more.
Well, assuming that we're able to,
I think we got that part dialed. I think we're good there.
I think it makes us just even more amazing parents to just embody being an open-hearted space more of the time than ever before.
I know.
I think that only helps the baby.
My level of gratitude and appreciation, and like particularly second trimester, you're like, oh, speak to the baby more, read the baby more books. I think when we get to third time, I'm going to be all over that. All over that, not taking any moment for granted, not a single moment. No. Awesome. All right, one last question, and we've got 1 minute left here.
Lori says, you guys have talked a lot about manifestation on many different shows. My question is, where do I start with manifestation work?
So there's so many different ways, Lori. The most important thing is the emotion behind it. But what I would recommend is you do a meditation in the morning. That can be a guided meditation. It can be one of the meditations from our guest. We're going to be putting out a whole series of meditations, both on our website and elsewhere for you, and on our YouTube channel. So this is a shameless plug to sign up for the newsletter for that. But do a meditation and then write out what you would like for your future. But write it out with positive emotion, whatever is excited about. So many people come to us and say, well, I'd like $1 million. Well, what do you want $1 million for? Well, I just want $1 million. Well, why? I'd feel better with $1 million. That's not really manifestation work. If you say, I want $1 million so I can change the world, so I can go on these trips, so I can spend time with my family, so I can take time off from work, so I can give back to my kids, so I can give back to my country, so I can give back to whomever, so that I can have an art studio, so that we can get a better home, and on it goes. That's manifestation. Or it could be, I want a deeper spiritual practice. That doesn't tell me much. I want to connect closer to God. I want to hear God's words. I want to be guided by the wisdom of source, universe, whatever we want to call it. I want to live in a state of prayer 24/7, and I want to truly embody what it means to be a spiritual being having a human existence. That's manifestation. It also happens to be prayer, because one and the other are the same. So start writing about this, coming to it from a what excites me. How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel free, happy, healthy? If that is a feeling, guys, why not? Do I want to feel on top of the world, excited, peaceful, calm, relaxed? Write about your manifestation work, all of the emotions that you have behind it. That would be a great, great place to start. All right. Any last words you want to tell people? Any last housekeeping? One-on-one sessions. We have spots available for coaching coming up in springtime. So go over to inspirenationshow.com/coaching. If you want to sign up for a free strategy session with me, would be honored to talk with you and to work with you. And you can sign up for our newsletter, which is now like I'm going to call it a 4D or 5D newsletter compared to the 3D ones we had in the past. We are going to rock it with inspiration, with stories, with sharing what's going on in our lives, with giving you lots and lots of bonus stuff, and with also helping you find the perfect YouTube videos for you to watch. You can just come on over to inspirenationshow.com and sign up for our newsletter there. You'll also be the first to know when events like this come up as well. We want to send all our love your way. I'm going to go through all of the comments, and I'm not sure if I can respond to everybody who's written, but thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for the love and support and for everything that you've given us during this time. That means the world to us. And I think that's really important because it helps us to share with you. And I think it sends a message to all of us that we're not alone, that we are all in this together. We are on one like Noah's Ark. And the more that we help each other and the more we're willing to share and be brave and share what's going on in our lives, I think the better it is for all of us. So thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next week here again. Have some amazing shows coming up this week. We're also posting little videos, like 3 quick tips or short meditations. Let us know what you think of these things as we're trying to find more ways to help you and more ways to support you. And of course, give us your suggestions and comments in the chat and in below with this video here. Of course, like it if you like it, or thumbs up it. That's it from here. Both Jessica and I send all our love your way, above and beyond all else. I actually want to say one last thing. This too shall pass. If you are stuck, realize life is constant waves and troughs, and wherever you are, this too shall pass. Love you guys. Shine bright.